drugs. We've read the headlines, watched the news. Drugs and alcohol and the effect they have on our friends, co-workers, family, and community are bigger and more destructive than ever. And they're not going away anytime soon. The cost to taxpayers is staggering. The backlog of drug cases has hopelessly mired our court system. And in many cases, the damage done to families is irreparable. 9 out of 10 of us know someone who is addicted to drugs or alcohol. 80% of criminal offenders who pass through the North Carolina justice system are involved with drugs and/or alcohol, and most of them are addicted. Incarceration has simply proven not to work. For the addict, jail is just a revolving door.
We had people who had committed crimes, who had been caught in possession of drugs. They came to court, we tried them, we sentenced them. They told us they were addicts, and all we did was say, go out and get cured.
We can lock them up in the morning, and they get out on bond or released in the afternoon, and we'll see them back on a street corner selling or using drugs the same day that they were arrested.
Basically, what we found out was that we had to get, as a system, we had to get honest that this didn't seem to be working.
More and more, judicial and medical experts agree the only solution is to identify and treat the disease, to break the cycle of addiction, crime, and recidivism, and to bring about recovery. In Charlotte, North Carolina, the justice system is working hand in hand with treatment specialists in a relatively new drug treatment court program that has seen remarkable success. It's called S.T.E.P, for Supervision, Treatment, Education, and Prevention. S.T.E.P targets nonviolent, non-dealer alcoholics and addicts with prior records. Offenders who participate in the voluntary program are required to prove their sobriety and complete 3 phases before they graduate. Treatment for their dependence on alcohol or drugs, case management meetings, and weekly drug testing. And the client must pay for his or her treatment. The first order of the day is the swearing-in ceremony. These drug addicts are being accepted into the S.T.E.P program by Judge Fritz Mercer.
They're going to be your friends. It's kind of like your family. You know what I'm going to be? I'm your daddy. All right? All right, grab a seat. Give them a hand, gang.
In drug court, the judge indeed acts as the father, dispensing parental advice while sternly meting out punishment. In the same sentence, he may congratulate the addict for a long period of sobriety, then chastise him for missed meetings. In some cases, when an addict fails to comply with the program, he is ordered to attend more meetings or court sessions, or go directly to jail.
When I'm in criminal court and I put somebody in jail, I've told people it makes me feel good. It really does. That's my personality. When I'm in here and I have to put somebody in custody, it makes me feel bad. Susan's doing great, 249 days. Don't you want me to get off your back?
Yes.
All right, let's work on it. Okay, work on the fees. Give me an extra court session, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Susan. You're doing good. You're a good example for others, okay?
Trying.
I'm proud of you. All right, Reggie, keep it up.
All right.
Drug court initially, all it really does is sort of take them sort of by the shoulders and let them know, do you understand what's happening to you? And just ask the question, you know, could you be an addict or an alcoholic? And if you are, would you want to get some help? And from there, the rest of it is not necessarily to continue to punish them or to beat them or berate them.
All right. This Honorable Court now reconvenes for the dispatch of official business. The Honorable Hugh Lewis, Judge, presiding. Be seated and come to order, please.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Drug court is a constructive court. It is one of the few times during the week where basically I can build something. 2 court sessions, 3 extra AA meetings. That means 9 in the next 2 weeks. Traditionally, courts have been punitive in nature. We punish because somebody did something wrong. Right. With drug court, we are able to take somebody who is a lifelong violator of our criminal statutes and reconstruct their life. So they're no longer having to commit crimes to either supply a habit or the habit itself is criminal. Brian, I'll give you the same challenge that I've given everybody else, and I've never had to do it. Okay? If you want to see a 50-year-old man do cartwheels across the well here in his robe and then stagger off to a chiropractor, you give me 90 meetings in 90 days. All righty? Nobody's ever taken me up on it, but if you really want to make this program work, you do 90 and 90 and it'll work for you, okay? Good luck. Let's give him a hand, folks.
You see your case manager twice a month. You have a one-on-one with the counselor at treatment. And you're required to go to 4 meetings a week. And by your 3rd week, at least have a temporary sponsor.
How's getting to the AA meetings going?
The role of the case manager is actually bringing the client into full circle. They are the liaison between the actual client and the other entities that are involved, their treatment program, the probation officer, the district attorney, the public defender. The case manager is the one who gathers all the information that is obtained on the client, and they make sure that the lines of communication remain open.
I had planned to make a referral to vocational rehabilitation, but what happened was that Katie relapsed. So we're going to have to wait until she gets to 60 days and start up again.
You believe you'll benefit
At the
from
independent treatment facility, the case manager, probation officer, and treatment staff meet with the client to formulate a unified case plan, specifically designed to fit the client's emotional, social, and family needs.
See me?
My major problem has always been alcohol. I got started when I was about 15 years old.
S.T.E.P program clients attend Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous meetings at least 3 times a week, more if possible. It is in meetings such as these that clients share their personal stories with other users from diverse backgrounds. By laying their lives bare, users discover they are not alone and that they have the support and love of their fellow addicts.
My entire family, they use or either sell, so it took for me to do the 28 days in the jail for me to get it together. So, that's what changed me. That made me a different person right there.
It's just chaos when I drink. And so I had a problem drinking, and someone called me. I can be at home, and by me want to be a good guy, go pick him up, take him somewhere, and I always wind up at the worst end of the bargain.
Hi, everybody. I'm William, and I'm an addict. First of all, I'd like to thank the God of understanding for allowing me to be here clean and serene. To give you a brief story of who I was, I used to be a police officer, professional ball player. To show this thing doesn't discriminate. So there's no big user, little user here. We're all the same.
Deep down, all addicts and alcoholics really want to be clean and sober. That is generally accepted within the treatment field, and it's been my experience, even for people who don't want to do this program, that they just don't necessarily see themselves succeeding. But the fact is that these folks want to be clean and sober. They don't know how. They don't know the paths necessary. They don't know how to take those steps, and they need some structure. We basically set up the structure to make that awareness possible of their addiction and the awareness that there is something called recovery.
You're pretty far along the program to have something like this happen, okay?
Yes.
For this office, it meant that we had to basically free up one attorney, that was Bob Ward, who was committed to this, who felt very strongly about this, who saw a tremendous need for it in the community, to free him up to work with the judge and the district attorney, and to kind of set in motion the plans and the committees and the funding, everything that would be needed to start up the drug court.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Drug court started in 1989 with just one in Miami, and it was a pilot project. It was not intended to be anything major, but within 4 years there were 12 courts that were up and operating across the country, and we were one of the first 50 courts by 1995. They now have over 1,200 courts.
Clients are required to attend 2 court sessions a month. At a typical drug court, the client is represented by a public defender, a case manager, a probation manager, a representative from the independent treatment facility, and the district attorney.
Way to go, David.
The client's progress in the program is reviewed and critiqued by the judge, who either applauds or chastises. Even when the addict has relapsed or has failed to attend the required meetings, the judge tries to encourage rather than punish.
72 hours in the peep out next time, okay? That ought to give you some encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see you next time. Thank you.
You remember one of the first things we have to deal with in this process is to leave the justification outside. Problems happen, okay? But when you get to the level of justification that brought you into this program and you continue to hold on to it, then you have yet to reach a plateau where you can let go of your problems.
47 days sobriety. What's going on?
I think everything's going well.
According to this, it is. Everything says you're doing great. You've moved up in treatment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. No problems?
No, sir. I just need to get my fees paid, but I'm working on that.
Clifford only has, folks, 587 days clean and sober. Way to go, Clifford.
190 days clean, scored 100% on overall score for the last 2 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a nice hand.
Sometimes it takes more than friendly persuasion to get an addict's attention.
Montre, it's my understanding that you picked up some new charges and you've also had your second positive. Therefore, we'll require 24 hours of jail. Just have a seat right over here.
I want you to get back on track, okay? All right, Nikita, you owe me 24 hours. All right.
Timothy, it's my understanding you had a relapse on Saturday and there was no meeting sheet as well.
Right.
I'm going to ask 24 hours of jail if you'll have a seat. Over here.
You owe me 24 hours.
I'm also going to require 24 hours of jail time for you as well. Please have a seat with these gentlemen.
You want me to do it the weekend?
No, sir, today. Have a seat with the gentleman. Deputy, if you'll take those gentlemen back. I have seen individuals who had lost all their relationships, lost all their self-confidence, self-esteem, lost all their abilities to be able to be a functioning citizen of our community, come completely around and correct all those problems.
And one thing that this experience has shown us is that people who have a substance abuse problem need to be coerced, they need to be led, they need to be threatened, but that ultimately they will get to the goal where one day they wake up and realize, this is the way I want to be. I want to be better. I don't want to be sick anymore. That's the major change that the drug court has provided for us. It's provided us that opportunity to be a cheerleader, to be a monitor, to be a guide, and to give them the opportunity to get well.
I solemnly swear that you've read and understand and agreed to abide by the terms of this agreement that you just signed.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, folks. Welcome to the program. Let's give them a hand, folks.
For the addicted substance abuser, the program is tough, but not impossible. It takes at least a year of self-examination, working on family relationships, wrestling with temptation, and the surrendering of power.
John's at 152 days now, not bad.
Well, something that when I went to inpatient, something that I learned, you got to change people, places, and things the way that you were doing things before. So I try to stay away from those people that are still using. So that if I see somebody in a public place or something like that and they talk to me.
And so, you know, the meetings to me are one of the most important things I get out of being in the drug court program, because it helps me to express myself in a positive way instead of, you know, expressing myself in a negative way by using drugs.
Just being sober it means a lot. You know, you wouldn't think that I wouldn't have thought then, that time I was drinking, that my life, that I could go this long without drinking. But and I have 9, and I don't want to drink again, but I just want to deal with the new way of living now.
But I'm happy I got in this program, and if I didn't get in this program, I would have got out of my time and then tried to start all over again, and would probably end back up where I was doing my time for being an alcoholic that I am.
The drug court did for me what I couldn't do for myself. It was a way, something deep down inside where I always wanted to stop what I was doing, but I just didn't know how, because I didn't know what I was going to do with myself after I quit.
Those 13 months was a big change for me. I've grown a whole lot. In perspective to my family, I went from family not trusting me, not really wanting me around, to having their trust now and wanting me in their life. And also my boys. I have my boys back.
So after 2 years now, I got my own house, I got my own car, I got a family within me, I got all my people in my life. Most of all, I got the people in this court system who love me when I didn't love myself. See, recovery don't promise me I'm gonna get the wife back, I'm gonna get this back and that back, but it promised me how to clean myself up. Today I love William. Today I work on character defects. Today I turn it over to God and my understanding. And sometimes I take my own will back, but as long as I don't pick up that first drink or that first drug, there's hope.
You meet folks who are often down and out and not particularly attractive, and realize that they need help just like someone who's well-heeled and affluent.
Actually, it was Judge Howerton who brought about that analogy, where he said that if a county commissioner or some person listening to this tape had a family member who had a drug or alcohol problem, they're not likely to call the police department and have them arrested and put in jail. They're most likely going to call the treatment center, see if their insurance covers something like this, and they're going to try to see about getting some help for that person. And so this is our effort within the system to try to treat people the way any average person would treat someone that they knew and loved.
I've been traditionally skeptical of anything of anything new, but I've been convinced that drug courts work. There are real studies that show they're very effective in cutting down recidivism or people who come back continually through the system. We've had success in Mecklenburg County. Our studies show that repeat offenses are cut to a little over 11%. For those who have not been through our drug court programs, the repeat rate can be 45%, over 45%. As you can see, that's very expensive.
Treatment and supervision for each drug court participant may reach $3,500 annually. To incarcerate a drug offender in a North Carolina prison can cost nearly 10 times that amount. Add to those costs emergency room visits, social welfare system expenses, crimes, auto crashes, lost work time, drug-exposed newborns, and the intangible cost of lives negatively affected by the drug or alcohol abuser.
Drug courts are sometimes viewed as a luxury, and in these times of budget crisis, there's always talk about cutting out funding for the drug court, and that would be a serious mistake. Only 25% of our monies for our drug courts come from the state of North Carolina. It's a real bargain for our justice system.
We're saving money in the long run because when you finance these courts, you're front-loading a success. You spend a little money now because the person, once clean, sober, and a productive citizen, is one, putting money back into society's coffers. Two, you're not housing them in a jail anywhere. And you're not spinning your wheels on a lot of the services, short-term situations that don't work.
can promise you that if you do what these people tell you to do, you're going to change your lives and you're going to find a whole new way to live. If you don't do what they tell you to do, you're going down the tubes. And you're also probably going to jail, or more likely to prison, if you don't kill somebody out on the highway, or yourselves.
I hope 5 years from now, I hope to be back in another business, but I lost my business on this kind of disorder out in the trucking. And I hope to have me another business within 5 years.
Hopefully within a year and a half to 2, I'll be able to buy another house. Got me back on my feet in my profession, and eventually, hopefully, move up in Morrison as an executive chef for a hospital.
They were teaching computer classes, and I always did want to take a computer class, so my case manager asked me if I wanted to start. So I got into the computer class. I finished and I graduated it. And I would have never done it if I'd have still been out there in the streets running and doing things on my own, because I wouldn't have slowed down long enough to even attempt it.
It saves their life. It saved my life. And I see people every day that could benefit from it.
10, 15, 20 years from now, hopefully I would be married, blessed with children, a career, and not want or lacking to have anything in life, because I've taken my falls, my slips, my stumbles and scrapes and bruises, and looked at those and said I don't have to continue to be that way. It's just dealing with life on life's terms and making the best out of life, And man, today is just a lot to be grateful, that through the program that I have a second chance at life. It's like being reborn all over again to me.
It's been hard, but the tools that they teach you in here, the tools that you learn at the outpatient, the tools that you learn in here in the courtroom and stuff like that in your meetings, that's what's going to save your life. And for me to look back on it just as, I wish I wasn't in this situation, but I made the choice, so I have to deal with it. And I'm going to look back as a positive thing that helped me change my life.
Alfonso, there's your certificate.
Today is graduation day for 2 hardworking STEP program clients, Alfonso and Marcel. Each graduate receives a certificate from the STEP program and the treatment center staff. From the DA, a dismissal of charges.
Pues es muy difícil para mí, ¿verdad? Y pues
It's quite difficult for me, you see, and
pues a pesar de que yo también tuve una recaída y
I also went through relapse.
Pues hice lo que me ordenaron para poder salir adelante.
I went ahead and did what they ordered me to go ahead and get ahead.
If it hadn't been for, everybody in here, Don, Jonathan, everybody, I don't think I would have made it.
I think all of these courts are works in progress, and no one has developed the perfect solution. Different drug courts are trying different ideas. Some work, many fail. Nobody, I think, has the perfect solution. None of us have a recidivism rate that is as low as what we'd like to have, but I think we can see we're moving towards that. We're moving in that direction.
If you have one addict that gets clean and sober, they positively affect at least 4 other individuals in their families, maybe parents or children or spouses or whomever else, employers, then you're seeing at least a 4-fold benefit for every person that we get clean and sober in this program. Not to mention, we're getting people, as you've noticed, they are very sold on recovery. And being sold on recovery and being able to present that, they're going into direct competition for those that the dealers have, because they're out there and they're basically out there as a force saying we can do life better than they can.
But what we now need is for society and individuals in society, businesses, to trust these individuals and give them a chance. Give them a job. Let them return to society. Let them be a productive citizen. Let them be a taxpayer, so they can help the next person that's in the same situation they were in. That's what it's all about for me. And that's why I keep going downstairs every day.
I think the single story that sticks with me the most was a woman by the name of Janet. Janet at her graduation told a story. At her graduation, she said that she arrived in court charged with prescription fraud and that she didn't have a lawyer. That the DA who was running the courtroom turned to her and said, "What do you want to do about your charge?" And she says, "I want to plead guilty." And the DA said, "Well, what if I don't let you plead guilty, but instead I make a deal with you? If you go into treatment for a year and do what we say, at the end of that year I'll dismiss your charge." She said that she wanted to learn more, and here she stood a year later, and she was clean and sober for 1 year. At that point she turned and she said, "The DA was Steve Ward, and I want to thank him because he's the whole reason I came into this program." Rarely does a defendant ever thank you for what you've done to them when you're a prosecutor.
This is a great start. This is probably one thing that we can be the most proud of in the system, the most proud of that we have dedicated this type of, the resources that we have and the people that we have. It's a shining star for the criminal justice system in Mecklenburg County.
If we really are willing to change, not necessarily an entire system, but in small ways, that the payoff is tremendous. It defies logic, common sense, and common decency not to address this with what appears to be a very workable solution. And when you can save lives, when you can save money, when we have the clean babies that are born in this program, where we can make this connection through intelligent management and application of resources and interest, why not do it? Why not celebrate the success? Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for people to stop and look and pay attention?
All right, folks, don't use, don't drink, go to meetings, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
This honorable court now stands in recess till September 9th at 3:30.